Hey guys, it's Colin with Ghost Train Comics, and we are going to continue on with our exploration of the Absolute Universe with Absolute Batman Volume 2 Abomination. This one is a lot, guys, so grab a drink and a snack, possibly 2 snacks. Volume 2 covers issues 7 to 14. It is much bigger than the first one. And the 2 story arcs of Absolute Zero and the longer Abomination. We kick things off straight into the action and some lovely setup with the Ark M plot and the interesting character of Matches Malone. Marcos Martín starts off volume 2, and Snyder shows how much value per issue he wants to give the readers, packing as much script and Martin's art into every single page while being the monster of splash page or title credits drop. So much is introduced here from another childhood friend through the Batman's combat journal and so on to Mr. Freeze. Gorgeous coloring and silhouette art, as well as the close-up on the eyes and that aforementioned title drop. The setup of the Ark M storyline is brilliantly gradual, while the first appearance of the Mr. Freeze analog in this universe makes us realize that Volume 1 was just a gentle intro, and now the true body horror really gets started. So much information has been given in every issue that the title feels way older than it actually is. The skillful blend of moving the story forward on all fronts, Bruce, Batman, Alfred, Crime Alley friends, the Mr. Freeze character, and the refreshing throwback to the now familiar death of the Thomas Wayne Zoo scene. A welcome change from years of endless artists riffing on a broken pearl necklace in slow motion and a shooter in a dark back alley. The carefully chosen end issue drops are super effective here, with issue 8 setting us up finally for the incoming Bane Confrontation we've been tempted with for a few issues by this stage. The 2-issue Absolute Zero story is a bit of a masterpiece all by itself, with the art and with the carefully kind of introduced story elements into it that not only have encapsulated this kind of a tragic tale transposed to this new Absolute Universe with some familiar elements, but Snyder twisting everything up to 360 degrees and flipping it around, but also keeping everything going with the kind of throwback, flashback scenes, as well as advancing the plot in the direction that we are sensing everything is going in, to the big Bane and Joker confrontations coming up over the next 2 volumes. But the visuals of the Freeze character are incredible and genuinely made me kind of draw a few breaths and definitely turning the pages, not sure what I was going to see next. So as a kind of an intro and as a 2-issue preamble to the main kind of piece in this volume, it's super effective. It definitely whets your appetite for what we're about to get into. The carefully chosen end issue drops are super effective here as well, with issue 8 setting us up finally for the incoming Bane Confrontation that we've been tempted with for a few issues by this stage. Now, seeing the first domino fall with Bruce's friends is a tragic inevitability, as Wayland's fate is taken to the next level before issue 9 hits. Even with the extensive body horror and brilliant backstory of Victor Freeze, so far in this volume, the inevitable refrain of, "You thought that was bad, wait until you see this," is already ringing out 2 issues into the collection. Issue 9, when we start to get into Abomination proper, is our first indication of just how deadly this Bane is and how matter-of-factly he takes Bruce's defeat. We see Alfred's humanity as well come out more and more as he sees the youthful idealism that he lost years ago in Bruce, but didn't want to crush him with the real findings on the Ark M projects and on Bane's backstory. Issue 10 is pure tension, switching between the point of views of those on the outside of Ark M, Bruce inside the facility, and flashbacks to Wayland's boxing match. You can tell Snyder is enjoying both the legitimate establishing the importance of Bruce's friends in his life, as well as setting us up for the inevitable events that will corrupt them. The gradual progression of Bruce's story within Ark M and what he does, as well as what he goes through, is astonishing in both the writing and the art, with some of the incidents being, in Snyder's own words, going hard. And I had many a gasp at them actually going there on several pages. The pace never lets up, and neither do the check-ins with the outside world as Bruce makes his way through this horrific ordeal. We start to really dig deep into what drives this version of Batman and the resources of strength he has to pull from. The unexpected hilarity of Batman's response to Bane's pretentious ancient Greek philosophical quote is a nice touch at the end of this issue, giving big Guy Gardner 1980s Justice League energy for sure. Issue 11 is a step back and to the side for the Bane origin story with Clay Mann. The fascinating deep dive into his past is as brutal and revelatory as one might expect. We also learn more about other versions of mainline DCU characters like Deathstroke, and we also get to see more of the Joker. Not much, but little hints, little pieces, and we get to learn more about his plans and about the different versions of him. Bane's plans go further here, and the ending of this issue is another knife twist in Bruce's childhood friends. Every issue here feels somehow longer despite the fast pacing and the unfolding action, given that so much happens in every slice of Absolute Batman. Issue 12 is the Rubicon point, and just as Julius Caesar made the choice to cross the river into Rome without disbanding his army, thus ending the Republic effectively, so Bruce, when confronted with the brutality of what Bane has done here, and with Alfred's push and pull encouragement, decides to plunge ahead into the fight versus backing down or surrendering in the face of such odds. The curious point here is some of the writing where Snyder is obviously partially just having fun with our knowledge of who Bruce's friends are in the mainline universe, and also somewhat leaning into whether or not these characters ever had a chance to avoid their fates despite different circumstances in this universe. It's without the malice or cruelty that you see in, especially like some of Mark Millar's stories, where it seems to be just torturing the characters or killing characters off just to get a reaction. It's not the case here, where Snyder is kind of genuinely weighing different elements and kind of thinking out loud on the page as to what the situation is and if there was ever another way that it could have gone. Issue 13 here is plot nuance and setup ahead of the next big confrontation with Bane. It's also catch up with Selina as Catwoman and the introduction of Harley. The flashbacks to Bruce and Selina working with mobsters regarding Wayland's fight is an interesting one, and an insight into not just the moral flexibility of this Bruce Wayne, but also how closely he worked with this version of Catwoman. The challenge to Bane here is great theatrical setup, and I dare anyone reading that scene of Bruce hijacking the TV signal not to read it out loud in the Batman voice of your choice. Mine was Christian Bale, just to Issue 14 starts out with a 20-panel check-in and setup page, followed by a beautiful splash image showing us just how good this team are at explosive openings once again, while putting maximum information needed in front of us. The final fight is a fun and gripping conclusion to the Abomination arc, with everyone moved along to the next stage and some sneaky takeaways and setups for Catwoman, Bane, and the Joker especially. Bane's delusional, doing it all so he can retire nobly and live peacefully, is incredibly obnoxious given his cruelty, his egotistical strutting, and his obvious enjoyment of inflicting pain and mayhem to such a degree that one almost agrees with the Joker's comments and actions at the end of this issue. So JK is not exactly wrong on this point. Great selections of variant covers included with this book, with some by Clay Mann, by Marcos Martín, and even Bill Sienkiewicz, as well as Brian Boland, representing people who worked on Batman since the early 80s. Great collection overall, guys, and we can definitely feel the growth and the development throughout. As Volume 3 approaches in September, I can't wait to get into that with all of you as well. But in the meanwhile, I'd love to have you subscribe so you can stay informed and what we have up, and you can share your opinions and let me know what you would like to see, what you're enjoying, and what you want to see more of. But until next time, stay safe and take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.